and welcome to a second attempt at this daily challenge. My last attempt I ended up getting a good score, but I only really talked about a couple filler games, and I wanted to do a filler game special and actually at least cover a decent amount, not just go over one or two. So I got 17 grand to compete with. Filler games are board games that only take a short amount of time to play. They're really simple. They encourage talking to each other. So there's something that, you wouldn't be distracted by people talking. So it's not going to have a lot of heavy strategy, that kind of thing. Really? Okay. For some reason, the software I'm using to translate my PlayStation 3 controller just decides that it wants to change the button assignments for the controller. I think I have all my functions back. Am I sprinting? Yeah, okay. No, that was not what I wanted to do. Oh well. So, filler games. King of Tokyo I mentioned at the end of the last board game special. The one that was basically taking the Yahtzee mechanic and turning it into something else. I think I actually talked about how it works, but basically there's different symbols on the dice, and you can roll up to 3 times, saving the roll, changing what dice you save every time if you choose to, and they will help you attack or get energy or gain health back, and your different monsters similar to Godzilla trying to control Tokyo, so you're fighting over it. Oh, well, I'm not going to be able to get the damsel this time. Let's just move on. Except I need to go up top. Another really good filler game is called For Sale. You all start off with the same starting money. I can't remember what it is. It's something like 12 grand. It doesn't matter. You'll know when you get it. You take turns going around the table, choosing whether you want to bid on the cards or not. If you end up passing the bid, then I believe you pay half of what you've bid so far, and you take the lowest numbered card. And you're trying to get high numbered cards. I think it goes between 0 and 30. Ooh, a compass. And then you use those card numbers that you got once you go through the deck. It should start off with putting out a number of cards equal to the number of people playing. So if you have 5 people playing, then you put out 5 cards and you bid on those. So everyone's going to get a card. I think I got it. So you go through the deck of numbered cards, and all of you end up with a hand of numbered cards. Then you use that hand of numbered cards to bid on another set of cards that get shuffled up that are money cards. And those are how you win the game. So you have to try and keep in mind what numbers you have compared to what numbers you think everyone else has, and try and choose when you want to play your biggest card, when you want to just throw away a bid and just use your lowest card. It's a lot of fun, and it's very short, and it's really easy to learn, so it's a great filler game. Another great filler game is No Thanks. It is a deck of numbered cards that you shuffle and take a few random cards out. I can't remember how many. I think it's something like... I'm not going to say a number because then I'm going to be wrong. But you take a certain number of cards out, so you don't know exactly which numbers are missing. and then you shuffle up the deck, and the starting player flips over the top card of the deck. And then they have to choose whether they want to take the card as points, or they want to pass on it and say no thanks and put a chip that they're hiding in their hand. Everyone starts out with a set of chips that they're hiding in their hand, and use the chip to pass. So they put the chip on the card, it goes to the next person. If they don't like it, they put a chip on the card, and it just goes around until someone decides that they want that card with all the chips that are on it. The goal of the game is to get the lowest points. So if you see something that says a card that says 30, you're not going to want it. And people are going to be passing that around and putting a bunch of chips on it and say every chip is worth -1 point at the end of the game, and it's bidding power. It's your ability to pass. So at some point there's going to be enough chips on it for you to be interested in it, or someone else. So if a card with 30 had 15 chips on it, then it's worth 15 total. And the other way that you can stop yourself from having to take points, that's a terrible shot, definitely not going up there, is if you get a run of cards. Like for instance, if you don't know runs, it's getting the numbers in order. So if it was 10, 11, 12 for instance, it has to be a run of at least 3 if I remember correctly. Then you take out all of the cards except the lowest of that run at the end of the game. So if I took that 30-point card with 15 chips on it, but I also had 25, 26, 27, 28, and 29, then I would be able to get rid of the 26, the 27, the 28, 29, and the 30. Get rid of all those points, and I would still have those 15 chips that I got from that 30. So there's some strategy in it, trying to make runs so that you can save yourself from getting a bunch of points, and watching the other people and trying to steal a card from them if you think they're going to be able to make a run. But like I said at the beginning, when you set up, you're taking out random cards. You don't know if you're going to be able to make that run. Whew, that was close. I had a feeling it would be. No, not drop it. I hate when that happens. No, don't drop it! For the second time! I'm okay if the game is killing me, but if I'm killing me because I keep dropping my weapon instead of firing it, that's kind of silly. So yeah, that's no thanks. It's a lot of fun. It's really easy. Moving on to another game. Shadowhunters is one that I own. I wish I owned no thanks. It would be pretty fun to play with the family. Shadowhunters is a hidden role game. Everyone starts off with... No, don't do that anymore! This is why I don't like having the climbing glove. I mean, I generally like it, but that kind of stuff happens and then I die. Yeah. So, a few things that I didn't mention. I'm just gonna start playing a regular game because I'm pretty fed up with retrying this. I'm not gonna retry it again. I did beat my friend's score, if that's worth anything. I don't know. A little bit of ego boosting, I guess. So, what I wanted to point out about filler games in the beginning and forgot to is that the dexterity games that I talked about, and dexterity games in general, are good filler games. It's very rare for a dexterity game to last more than 45 minutes or so, and that's basically where most people think the cutoff point is for a filler game. It's really, obviously, it's subjective what people think a good filler game is. But basically, if you want an idea, once you get into board gaming and you get serious about board gaming, you'll start having board gaming nights, and that's going to involve playing a lot of games that take a long time to play. And I say a long time because it's what most people consider a long time. I don't consider it to be a long time. But like 3 to 4 hours for a game is an example. So you'll be playing multiple games. Say you play a game that's 4 hours. And then you play a game that's 2 hours, and then you play a game that's 4 hours, and as you can imagine, you get really drained from that. Playing a bunch of long games in a row is really tiring. So what filler games are good for is you can play a 4-hour game, and then you can play 1 or 2 short little 15-minute games and have fun with it. And then you can play another 4-hour game because you're energized. You just played a nice short fun game. You got time for your mind to relax. You played another long game, and so on. So filler games are filler between big games. And I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just trying the same thing over and over that I already know isn't going to work. What was the thing that I was going to point out? Oh yeah, most gateway games are good filler games. Because one of the definitions of a filler game is that it's really easy to pick up, and it's not going to distract you from conversation. So most gateway games are like that. But the thing is, games like Ticket to Ride or Memoir 44, those aren't really filler games because they take a long time to play. And I'm saying a long time, but Ticket to Ride only takes an hour. That's basically nothing for a board game. But that's still not filler level of length or strategy. I mean, Ticket to Ride, you might be sitting there thinking about strategy. That's not really good for filler. Ink and Gold was mentioned as one of the introductory games, and that is undoubtedly an amazing filler game. I highly suggest it if you're looking for a good filler game. I just played it with family on Christmas because I got it as a Christmas present, which is pretty awesome. Shadowhunters I was going to mention. It's a lot of fun. It only takes about 30 minutes to play, and it can play up to 8 players. So, in fact, it is best at 8 players. Undoubtedly best at 8 players. I wouldn't recommend it if... oh no. I wouldn't recommend it if your group was 4 players regularly, because it goes 4 to 8 players, but it's not amazing at 4 players. Another amazing filler game that is very highly rated, and it's highly suggested by me. You could even play it as a full-on game because the playtime is about 45 minutes, and when you're first starting, it's probably going to be more like an hour. So it will be like a full-fledged game to start off until you get used to it, and then it could take you 20 minutes to play it. It has many different ways to win. It's very simple to learn. I'm focused on killing a shopkeeper, making sure he is dead. Poison is another filler game. You have cards of different colors that are different potion types. Green is always bad. It's poison. Basically, what you do is you try and fill cauldrons with different potion colors. You each take turns putting one card in one cauldron. There's only 3 cauldrons to work with. I love having a lot of bombs and them not being sticky. That's pretty awesome. I am terrible with aiming and sticking sticky bombs on shopkeepers. The numbers on the cards will go up to 7, I think. And once a cauldron gets a total value of cards in it equal to 14 or more, then it boils over. And the person that placed the card that put it at 14 or more takes all of the cards except for the one that they placed from the cauldron, and they keep that to the end of the game. And the goal, just like with No Thanks, is to have the lowest score. And like No Thanks, there is a way to take a bunch of cards but still be able to get rid of them at the end of the game and not take them as points. That way is you have to have the highest total of that color. So if I have the highest total of blue cards, then I can get rid of blue cards. I can discard them all, if I remember right. I think you get rid of all of them. This can lead to pretty ridiculous scores. You might try and go for red, for instance, and you might not get the highest amount, and then you're stuck with a bunch of points because you weren't paying attention to the fact that your friend was getting more red than you were. Oh, ouch. I was doing so well. But yeah, that's poison. It's pretty simple. There are probably more I could come up with, but this is already going to be a long video. So I hope you have a good rest of your day. I hope you enjoyed your winter holiday festivities of various kinds. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Yuletide. Bye-bye.